Slick top with a twin turbo would be the ultimate way to go, right? I mean, it's the lightest, stiffest, least leaky, most stable one that they made. I wanted to see what would happen if you basically started with donor material on the donor car and your car, and like just sort of like started the weekend with a couple of helpers and said start, and just see how far you can get in that weekend. And I decided to sort of turn it into, I called it School of Swap, because I had two guys that had both expressed an interest. One of these guys' name was Usman, the other guy's name was Din, both interested in potentially working here at MWS Motorsports. So without turning it into like an actual apprentice thing where it's like, you're fired, you know, and like basically when someone screws up, you get rid of them. I just wanted to give them a chance to like learn as much as I could about the process, you know, delegating processes to them that I knew that they could handle, get a chance also to test drive them in that process. They actually get to test drive the shop, which I think is a nice, unique opportunity for them. And it actually did work out. I mean, ultimately, we ended up hiring one of them. So there's Rob. So you guys are getting ready to just basically undoing everything on the engine right now, right?
Yep. We're going to remove the power steering J-tube so we can lower the engine, or else it's going to be in the way. And our whole reservoir pump is going to come down with it if you forget to remove it.
Right, so exactly.
Use a heat gun, it makes life easier.
Heat gun is the answer to everything, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's your friend.
Yes, the heat gun is definitely your friend. Because it is freezing ass cold out there today.
Yes, it is.
Dude, I don't know how you're like standing around here in like a shirt, just a short sleeve shirt. Okay, so here's my engine that's going to go into the car. Basically, it's ready to go. It's got transmission, RPS, segmented flywheel, Jim Wolf heavy-duty clutch. It's got my throttle body water bypass kit on it, going up this way, using this existing line and then coming around here. There we go. I do that on all the customer cars that request it. What else have we got here? We've got 555 injectors with the MWS ground down caps, which aren't being very friendly and they're not lighting up very well right now. There we go. You see the face of it's been ground down so we can take the new type plug. I'm going to be putting on the hardline kit pretty soon, so it's going to be attached to here. These are some old Skyline turbos, and no, I won't do those for your car.
What line do you gotta change though? That line changed.
So pretty, what do you think?
Pretty cool, easy.
I didn't take very long, I did it.
Yeah, they're not that long. It's pretty. She looks pretty. Mike, tell me what line you gotta change for the AC.
Every single bit of it. Every single bit of air conditioning line, everything. The condenser. The condenser, the dryer, all lines, everything, the low side, the high side, every single air conditioning line, period. All things that have to do with air conditioning.
Okay.
Period. I mean everything. So how is it pulling a motor this way?
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
It's actually a lot easier. You don't damage stuff though.
Right. It's quick too, huh? Because you guys have both, you've done swaps, you've done a swap,
yeah.
right? And you basically bought a twin turbo that had no right to be running on the roads and got it running, right?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. That's cool.
You did an engine swap for your own car?
Yeah, yes I have. I did it. I dropped in a JDM TT motor in my twin turbo.
So you have quite a bit of experience working with Michael. What do you think? How is it working with Michael?
I think it's good working for Michael. I can definitely learn a lot of things from him. You know.
You think he communicates very well? And
Yeah, communicate very well. You just gotta watch out not to get him mad. And when he gets mad, you know, that's it. He loses temper. I didn't say that.
So here's Paul's car, one of my original customers. He got ran off the road by a one of those huge camper vans, you know, like maybe not a mobile home, but like one of those, you know, the recreational vehicles, you know.
How was it working with him?
It was, you know, it was, how do you say it?
Do you think he was really helpful and, you know, he would guide you through the way?
Yeah, he guides me through the whole way, you know, whatever I don't know, I would ask him, and he would show me. You know, he would be very specific, very clear, and I think that's great.
Those two air conditioning hoses, all the rest of the air conditioning stuff which is lying around, basically we just descended on Paul's car and removed everything from the firewall this way, underneath through there, and here, all the intercooler tubing, everything to get all the air conditioning stuff that I was missing. And now these guys, since the motor's out, are going to do a fascia pull, and then they're going to take off basically the pop charger and the fan and then the condenser, and then start taking out intake tubing and air conditioning tubing, and we'll be at that baseline where we can start turning this car into a twin turbo. How does that sound, guys? Everyone's working too hard right now to get excited about it. We almost have everything off that needs to come off. I mean, canister is the last thing coming off, and I actually do want a working charcoal canister because I'm in California. And engine bay is pretty dirty. We're trying to decide if we want to put a cross member and an old steering rack on here real quick to be able to get rid of all this dirt. Can you hold the light up here and shine it real quick? You know, to get rid of all this dirt and stuff, we're trying to decide if we want to stop and take the time to do that. And Rob kind of hates me right now because I told him he has to change out not only the booster, but the actual master cylinder itself, because the master cylinder's been leaking. So he gets to do that.
I can take this off, right?
And one of the other things that I have to do, which sucks, is I have to replace every one of these plugs with my own MWS stuff, because I'm all about eating your own dog food. You basically have to like have your own plugs on your own car. So
Just trying to make it look a little clean.
yep, it looks cleaner than it was yesterday. There's no better time to do this. That's it for sure. Got everything all closed off. Make sure it doesn't get all messed up. There's a new booster. It's excellent, guys. Thanks. I gotta go in here and spend some time removing these two guys and these two guys down there, and the radiator supports. The twin turbo, they're totally different than they are in the 980. Rob's already prepared these pieces where he's got a little punch mark in pretty much every spot weld. I'm going to check his work and see whether or not there might be a few punches missing here. We'll work on those later. There's one here, one here, one here, one here. That one's good. One there. It looks like he spotted one there, and he spotted one there too. Good, good, good. So I'm going to just show you just one, just to make sure we got this going. How's that shot look, okay? Go nice and slow. And the moment that you sort of feel it click, you're through the first sheet metal layer, and then you stop, okay? And once it starts cutting like this, see the circle? Like move it around until you get like a full circle. You know what I mean? Like if it's like this or like this, like tilt it until you get a full circle cutting. And then it's gonna kind of make a clicking noise. Or it's just gonna change all of a sudden. Like there's still a teeny bit of steel, you can actually see it. And I think that we're through there. That one didn't give us very much of a dramatic feel to it. I'll just let you try it. Here you go, Ron. Still got the first layer of steel there, I think. Stop right there. See how you can see smoke coming from behind it?
Yep.
Behind that layer?
Alright.
That's probably good. Let's just let you move on to the next one. So you're gonna have to. The other thing I'd like you to do, Dan, do me a favor. We're gonna try to keep track of all the metal shavings. One of the last things you want to do is raise the car up and have this shit fall into your eyes. That would suck. So actually, what I'm probably gonna do is just give you a vacuum cleaner to vacuum as we go. Okay? All right. Nice job. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go on this one, and at least 6 on this one. And then we can break these guys loose. And then we can weld the new ones on and sort of seal up all the places to keep it from rusting. That would be great. Almost looks like he knows what he's doing. That's cool. Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. Look at how nice that is. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Now try your mallet. See what you got. Wow. Come on. Go up a little more. Just keep going up until you deform it. Really? Okay. Come down. Now go down even harder, like even further. There you go. All right, you just broke one. That's a beautiful sound. Now go up. See, because now you're going to get a free ride going up again. Yep, keep going. Now come down. Oh, look at that shit. See, I love it. Keep going. Just fatigue the metal. Fatigue the holy shit out of it until it just breaks. It gives up. Bad metal. Bad bracket. Screw you, bracket. We don't want you anymore. Keep going. Yeah. It's okay. So that, even though we're using a pretty big bit, it's sometimes, I'm going to clean that up myself, okay?
Right.
Now, everybody take a look at the car. This is not an NA and it's not a TT. It is a nothing right now. It's literally at that point where it has no NA parts, no TT parts, no nothing. But I am going to show you a thing of beauty that I noticed while Rob was busy drilling, which has got me excited. See these 4 things right here? Now, I think we're just about to strike a pot of gold here. If I open this up and there's a threaded hole underneath there, I'm going to jump for joy. Unless Joy jumps first. Let's take a look. I think we're going to be disappointed here. Ah, it's a frickin' hole. Just a goddamn hole with no threads. Alright. Because see some of this stuff over here, a lot of times you'll actually get, well, in this case you don't. Alright. Prove me wrong, why don't you, Nissan? Sometimes you'll see these things plugged up with like rubber plugs, okay? Nevertheless, so this actually sucks more than I thought, and I'm in a bad mood now, okay? Because this is basically where we're gonna have to figure out how to attach our oil cooler, okay? Like this. Sometimes they are threaded, sometimes they're not. Sometimes there's only 2, sometimes there's not, sometimes there's none. When there's none, it's the best because you just drill 4 holes and put some kind of light, like, tapped threads in there and you can just get a free job. Now here's the other thing. This is good though. The fans are always the same. That's no big deal. But this is a free ride, and that actually does put me back into a good mood. We go from non-turbo to twin turbo for the condenser, just like that. On my convertible, they didn't have the additional holes. So we've got both holes. That's really exciting. So that does give us a little bit of a free ride there.
The thing about it, most of the twin turbos out there have, a lot of them have a long turbo.
Yeah.
You buy and drive for like, what, 10,000 miles and it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the shop is just pull the motor to replace the turbo, right? Or they just replace the underbar.
I don't know what all the other shops do, but I know that we're going to pull the motor.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I mean, Rolf has actually done it once with them in the car. I don't know how the hell he did it.
I did it, dude.
How long did it take you?
If you the thing is you hurt yourself so many times, you can't work on it, so it'll eventually take you like 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
Because you hurt your hand so many times. My knuckles are all fucked up. My brother's knuckles are fucked up. Like, I don't feel a lot of pain no more.
Oh. Crazy.
That's nasty, man. So we're ready to put in the fuel pump into our coupe. Now I'm using a heat gun. Here's the big disclaimer. I'm not going to take any responsibility for anything stupid anyone does with a heat gun, but I trust this heat gun enough to not generate sparks. And that's the thing that's actually going to cause gasoline to ignite. So since it's freezing ass cold outside, I've been heating up these tubes and easing them off very nicely. And I feel confident that that is a safe thing to do. You need to decide for yourself what is a safe thing to do. Here we go. Now I have to keep track also of which ones I backed the clamps onto the actual tube itself, or which ones I took off and set aside. You will be a very sad panda if you go and put these tubes on and you realize you ain't got no clamp. It would suck very much for you. See how this interior piece is still on here right here? Well, even if you undid it and removed it, this stupid bracket is still here as well. There are ways to install this pump without and make very bad sounding noises, but still have it be an okay thing. And that's what we're going to do right now. Installation is the reverse of removal, as they say, and it is always a hair-raising experience. You just kind of have to feel what you're doing and use brain power, which I don't always have in abundance. Now, another thing you're going to need to do is make sure you don't take the actual big, giant, 6-inch O-ring and just knock it inside the gas tank. Why do you think I know that? Because I've done it before. Okay, I have to back up and sort of reverse a move here and do something. There we go. And there's the bad noise. Twisting everything around, being very careful. Move these things out of my way with deftness and finesse. I'll probably heat that up in a second. Let's try that. I know this is giving people butt pucker, but again, sparks, not necessarily heat. And I am setting my heat gun down onto something solid and metal, because right now the tip of it is extremely hot, and it is not going to be the kind of thing you want to set down on some interior bits. You're going to be pissed off. I got one of these electric guns. I got a feel pretty much for what kind of torque this thing applies. These things are small, wienery little bolts. They don't need a lot of torque, okay? Like, I've got it set for like next to nothing. Don't go honking these things on really hard. That's just stupid. Okay? If they strip, you'll smell gasoline the rest of the time. You're driving your Z, and it'll suck for you. I decided to go with yellow because we may actually paint this car yellow at some point. And even though we're not going to paint it in here, it's sort of like my mascot. Like I know that it's like knowing that your underwear is on right. Sort of. If that makes sense, Rob. No. Yeah, Rob is just speechless at this point. End of law, frickin' law. When these things have been taken out, they're going to be bent. You're going to want to just get like a small ball peen hammer or something. Just clean them up on an anvil. So come out looking like this. You see that there's more paint on that area. Ready to well. First time I did a swap, I actually bothered to put in and weld all the little brackets that go right here that support the intercoolers tubing. And nowadays, when I do this job, I actually take most of the brackets, most of this stuff, and just saw it off. Maybe not on this piece so much. I leave the stuff at the top. I like that stuff because that's what we're just basically just set up, so we're gonna it's gonna actually mount to this stuff, right? I mean, of course this way, but it's gonna mount to this stuff, and I like that support. But Rob's over here working with the two side pipes and just kind of doing a rough cut to remove the two lower brackets, which I hate so bad, and I'll grind them off a little cleaner later. And those are the ones that make it almost impossible to install the intercooler tubing with the engine in. And they're really not that necessary. You got like a dozen different super stiff hoses holding everything in place. we got all of our brackets in place and everything. There's some sort of Rust-Oleum stuff that's drying on it right now to help prevent rust from happening. And the order in which the stuff is going back in is basically the 2 intake tubes. Okay, and all these bolts were already there for us, which is very cool. And then the next thing that went in was, what guys? The lower power steering, basically oil cooling tube, okay? Then the oil coolers tubes. One of the things that happened was we found out that this bolt hole right here actually wasn't threaded for us. That one over there, hiding right there, was. So we just said screw it. I didn't feel like bothering to try to put a nut underneath there and welding it in place. That one didn't come for us. And then this was actually one of the things we put in first as well, was the entire twin turbo canister, okay? Then the next thing that goes in is the thin air conditioning line on the passenger side. And then the bigger air conditioning line on the passenger side as well, both of whom fit on the other side of this guy. Another thing that's going on is this is actually one of these twin turbo power steering lines, and it had a crimped on tube right here, and I sawed that off because a non-turbo one is going to just have a little thin hose here with a clamp on both sides, and you're going to want to be able to change that out in the future anyways. So that's actually a nice sort of a thing you can do while you're in the middle of doing the job, is just saw this bugger off carefully and use a thin hose instead, because it's going to be much easier on you. So we're actually coming along real well. Next thing that's going to go in is all the intercooler tubing and the condenser and the dryer and intercoolers, and basically the car becomes a twin turbo car waiting for a motor. Okay, so we're running out of time. Weekend's over. We wanted to start this weekend by having every single part that was available for a twin turbo before the weekend started, and we didn't have all that stuff ready. That was my fault. We have the oil cooler in, we got all the intercooler tubing in, it's all in here too. We'll hold it over here a little bit. The actual intercoolers aren't mounted, but you know, as far as I'm concerned, everything that's supposed to make this car be a twin turbo is here, and I'll be putting the motor in sometime this week, I'm sure. So thanks everybody for all your help this weekend. I really appreciate it. And guys, it's a twin turbo. All right.
What did you learn now that you did not know before about this NA to twin turbo swap?
The AC lines, you know, the bracket for the radiator, the holder. I didn't have no clue about that. Basically, people would think that they can do a TT swap for like, you know, under 2 Gs or 1 G. Forget about it. You know, you gotta be prepared to spend money if you really want to get a NA to TT swap. But it's a lot of work is involved in it, and you will come into things like, you know, little things will fuck you up. I need the F word.
Do you have any thoughts or any comments to the people who are actually going to do this? You know, any kind of advice you can give them?
It's not really as simple as you think. You would just go home and buy an engine and, you know, do it yourself. It requires, it's pretty much, you know, you want to do it right. You want to have a twin turbo, safety, reliable. But unless, you know, you just want to have fast things, then I guess.
Fast, cheap, and reliable. Pick any two.
Yeah, you know, cheap, reliable, fast. It don't go along. You know, you can't have a fast car and be cheap. You know, it won't be reliable. But yeah, you want a reliable car. You know, you might as well take it serious and buy everything, know what you're doing, do some research, all that stuff. But you know, the swap is fun. It takes a lot of time, and you know, to buy the parts, you know, it takes a lot of money and time, but the outcome is awesome.
That took like 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. I decided to go ahead and throw on a set of brakes too, and some stop techs, braided lines. We're going to do a bleed anyways because someone had some kind of really gross looking paint on the calipers in the front and the rear and needed to like just get rid of them. And I put in the braided lines, and so there's time for bleed. And if I'm putting in new calipers, then why am I not putting in a set of my own brakes? And this is the latest version. They're both cross-drilled and slotted, and everyone's going to say, well, dude, you only need one, cross-drilling or slotting, and they would be right. But I kind of like had these done as a sort of a demo to show people what it looks like when it's done. And this is pretty funny. I was actually just getting ready to take it for a little quick spin around the block, and I forgot the one last piece that's twin turbo specific. Much better. Here we are. Today is going to be my first day where I let Carl abuse my car, and I've already found that there's so much torque because I did the manifolds and because it's just a lighter car that I can't ever keep second gear like stuck to the ground no matter what at 18 psi. So we're borrowing Carl's race rubber. These are like some, what, 80 treadwear tires or something like that?
80 treadwear Michelin Pilot Sport Cups. They are just barely streetable race rubber. They're not like the super race compound where it hardens after 3, 4, 5 heat cycles. These are kind of a more streetable compound, but it is, as you can see, a full-on race tread pattern, and it's
and they're
very sticky,
bigger, the bigger tire circle too, right?
Slightly bigger diameter, about 1 inch higher diameter.
All right. And right now I've got a light on Carl, and he's already check. We want to get his driving impressions before he actually takes it for 0 to 60.
Dude, that was 30 to 80 in about a heartbeat.
And I'm trying to see if I can use this light to fill on his face, and it still is having a hard time here. Let's see. There we go. So even though it's daytime, Carl's sitting here with a spotlight in his face. So here we go. First time on the highway. Get in second, get in second, get in second, get in second. Oh, he's taking it in third.
That's awesome, dude. You gotta dyno this car, dude.
I do need to dyno this. This thing feels way more powerful than before I ported out the manifolds. You know, and that's all the only difference. Well, and I have bigger intercoolers too.
You gotta dyno before you break the manifolds.
True enough. So here we go. This is Carl breaking the law, being very bad.
Hey, you're encouraging me.
Driver's gone wild. Oh, dude. So we're driving along, kind of like just putting along. And let's see if we can hear that clattering noise. Try it, Carl. I don't know if people can hear that. Hard throttle, no load. That's the old Whitesco piston problem that like people started having initially. That this motor is like one of the originals, and so I've already talked with Brian Nutter about it. He's promised me a set of pistons if I ever got around to exchanging them. You know, but that's the sound, and the thing is I want to like reiterate to people, if you get a set of Whitescos now, it won't do that. If you get a set of Whitesco pistons now, they won't make that noise. One more time, I'm going to say it one more time before I get inundated with bullshit from the internet. You will not get that noise if you put Whitesco pistons in your car now. They are safe, it's okay. You know, I don't expect them to last forever being able to do that, because they do actually just kind of come up and do a little bit of a rock at the top and then come back down again, because you're getting a lot of you know, advance, you know, at the right towards the top of the stroke, and it actually whacks the piston and makes it whack into the wall. I mean, when I shove a bore scope down into each cylinder, I can actually see scuff marks on the two sides, the thrust side and the opposite side, you know, where it whacks up there at the top of its rise, you know. So, but this motor is nice and strong. I like it, and I'm just going to sort of use it until I pop it, you know. So, no reason not to. Well, so here we are at the weighing station, and there's the car, and it's sitting on the pad, and it's got a full tank of gas, and a spare tire, and an airbag. And I don't think there's anything else in there that's heavy. And oh, and a leather driver's seat instead of a stock, you know, cloth one without the electric motor shit.
And my big ass racing rims in the rear.
Oh, and it's got the heavier racing rims in the rear, whatever. Those are a little heavier. And right now it is saying 3,400 pounds. Well, there's the Yahoo building, so we must be going for a test drive.
Yahoo!
bunch of other nice Silicon Valley buildings over here too. There's another Yahoo building. JSR Micro. It's already starting to terrorize me. Damn, I can't even hold the camera still. Now, it's going to take Carl probably a couple of chances to learn how to launch it with these tires on here on this car with this clutch, but we'll give him a few chances here. Not bad.
That was pretty
Got a little bit of chirp, like in first gear, and that was about it. You know, if I wasn't using those tires on this car, it would just be, you know, just spinning all over the place. Even though they're SO3s, which are pretty sticky tires for the street, and in second gear there was no spin, which was nice.
0 to 60 in 4.437.
Well, that's a record so far for us, isn't it? Or
That's
I'm pretty sure that's a record. Hey, what if I did a run?
Oh, see if you.
Hey.
I don't know. Do you want to challenge the master?
Challenge the Ninja Master with a launch, a special launch today for you. God damn, this tarmac is literally just pitted and rutted and fucked up. And I'm trying to see if I can.
He's laying down excuses. That's what he's doing.
Tire on like a nice
laying down
tar
excuses.
strip. A nice tar strip.
Now press OK.
Okay.
And wait for it to stay ready.
It says staging. Launch when ready.
Launch when ready.
And I think I've got it set for 18 psi. And here I go. Yeah, just nothing but wheels spin the whole way out. Okay.
What was that? 4.7.
4.799. Staging. Launch when ready. It's kind of fun. All right, here I go. That was a no wheel spin pussy launch.
I knocked your boost controller thingy.
No.
Golly bump.
Okay, so, and that's getting worse and worse. It's 4.9, so let's just stop. It's not very entertaining. I don't make for very good MWSTV, I'm afraid. So it's true, I can't launch for shit, and then Carl is king. So.
Oh yeah, that's me, the king.
All right. I'm gonna just drive it home.
The launch king, the king of launch, the launch meister. Woo! Hey Rob, what'd you do to the car?
Mike's car just died.
Oh, dude.
So, I think I got like 25,000 miles out of this motor with these clattery old, badly designed pistons, and you know, I kind of didn't expect it to last forever, you know, but it's been seeing like 18 psi every single day, and once we get it open, I think what we're going to find is that the pistons have just beaten themselves up on the insides of the walls from all the, you know, shimmying back and forth, you know, especially at part throttle. So. But that's alright, because this car was supposed to end of life this engine, as they say in Silicon Valley, end of life, and then get a nicer built engine with better fitting pistons, with a lot of other goodies. So this is just the first stage in the project. I just was hoping to drive it to the next stage, and I guess I'm not going to.